It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Deeds Brewing Company, and this is a can of their Hypercolor. It's a California IPA coming in at 6.8% ABV in a 440ml can. Always a fan of canned craft beer. Used to talk about canned craft beer an awful lot just a few years ago, but it's become that normal now in the industry that we don't even talk about it anymore. We don't even mention the fact that cans have taken over, or beer is now, great beer is now in cans. For a number of years, craft beer used to be in bottles. I remember drinking some of the old Stone California style IPAs that were fantastic, that have now all gone over to cans. But everything used to be in bottle. We just got used to cans. Without further ado, let's get this beer out into a glass, see what we get. I want to say a massive thank you to Travis in Australia for sending this beer all the way from Australia. Deeds Brewing Company. Well, Travis really has put this brewery on my radar. I didn't, because, I mean, they're the other side of the world. Forgive me for not knowing, or before I drank their beer, knowing who they were. But from drinking probably 5 or 6 or maybe even 7 of their beers now, I can tell you that whatever they touch turns to gold. So no pressure then with this beer. They produce some absolutely world-beating beers, and they should be known all around the world for producing terrific beers. This is a limited release, so if you're watching this review, I suggest you go and look for this beer pretty sharpish. We got a 1 to 2 finger white head, good levels of carbonation. It's a straw coloured, hazy looking beer. Let's get the aroma. Yeah, it's got that classic California IPA aroma to it, that feel to it. So you might be asking, what is a California IPA? Or if you've been drinking for years, you might just go, yeah, we know, get on with it. But I have to kind of just give a few words on California IPA, because there's probably going to be some new people watching this video today. And I always like to include people. I don't want to be one of those kind of channels where you don't feel like you're including new people to the beer scene. I like to be helpful. So California IPA, it's a style of beer where they do a lot of dry hopping on the back end, from my understanding. That kind of San Diego style IPA. There should be a lot of bitterness on the beer, and you'll have flavours of grapefruit, fleshy blood orange, and some lemon, maybe some lime, and some lot of spiciness. And that's what we're getting, really. We're getting that kind of pungent hop aroma. There will be a lot of dry hopping as well on the back end, which means a lot of the hops go in the fermenter as well to get lots of flavour. So if you put hops in the boil kettle, you're producing bitterness. If you put the hops in the fermenter, you're producing more flavour. Let's dive in. Cheers. It's good. It's really good. It's really good. It's not producing the amount of bitterness that I was kind of first expecting. There is some bitterness there. There is a little bit of bitterness there on the back end. It is actually a slow moving bitterness, actually. It's kind of like just building on the palate here. The more I'm drinking this beer, the bitterer it's getting. My first taste of the beer was slightly alarming. I was like, oh, this is like New England. This is like kind of Florida style, kind of New England style beers where they're kind of more grapefruity and passion fruit and mangoey in the middle. But it does. The more you drink it, the more the bitterness comes flying through on the back end. That said, there is, you can tell, there's a lot of hops that have gone into the fermenter with this beer. It's always important to roll around the beer, get it into the glass. Roll around the can even, get it into the glass. You might get a bit of sediment, you might get a bit of that beery goodness into the bottom of the glass now. Gravity and all that. It's generally a very, very drinkable beer, nice and soft. Now I've added that last little bit of beer into the glass. It's a lot softer. There's lime, just a lime cordial, pepperiness, spiciness, grapefruit, orange peel, fleshy blood orange. It's like cutting a grapefruit in half. My grandfather used to cut a grapefruit in half. He used to give half to my sister and half to me, and before we ate them, he'd put a spoonful of sugar on top of the grapefruit. So you get that kind of, that bittersweet sensation that you can only really get from a grapefruit. I'm not saying that the brewers added a ton of grapefruit into this beer. It's the hops in the beer, which are, let's have a look. There's a big description. Idaho 7, Motor Weekend and Simcoe. So it's hops. It's not like they've squeezed grapefruits and lemons and oranges in the beer. It's the hops. It's the beautiful Californian and Australian sunshine that is able to pull out more flavour from the hops. Right, description on the beer, Hypercolor. The question is, were Hypercolor t-shirts ever going to remain in style beyond that one summer in 1991? Oh my goodness me, yeah, I remember them blooming t-shirts. Used to touch them and they changed colour. Where everyone seemed to have one. Fast forward 30 years and surely this is just a glitch in the matrix, or did we really see Hypercolor swimming trunks on our Instagram feed? It does make you think. Ask yourself, were California IPAs ever out of fashion? Still flooding markets across the world, offering up bitterness, aroma, intense flavour, and a viable alternative to those fruit salads we have all come to love. Love it. Cheers to you, Hypercolor, for reminding us that some things will never fade from our collective conscious because they are just too damn cool. I love it. Hypercolor. Yeah, I remember Hypercolor. Who owns that? And why isn't it still a thing? You should touch it. Your t-shirt, Hypercolor t-shirts, you used to touch them and they used to change colour. I bet they were dangerous. I bet that's what it was. They contained some kind of weird toxic stuff that was poisoning us, really. Rating on Hypercolor, the beer from Deeds Brewing Company. Looks good, smells good, tastes wonderful. The beer for me is a Stone the Crows 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box, subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews, give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom, cheers.